Hello fans, welcome to Man Utd Transfer HQ. Stay updated with the latest transfer gossip and breaking news.
Our today news is Man United flop Antony drops Liverpool bombshell after Mo Salah replacement talks. Antony was linked with joining Liverpool in 2022 before Mo Salah signed a new contract, giving rivals Manchester United a free run to sign him from Ajax for £86 million. Antony has revealed that he was very close to replacing Mo Salah at Liverpool just months before he signed for Manchester United. Liverpool superstar Salah was facing an uncertain future going into the summer of 2022, with only 1 year left on his contract. Anfield Chiefs were forced to explore their options, including the prospect of selling him for a significant fee. That saw Antony targeted as a potential replacement before Salah opted to put pen to paper on a bumper new deal. At the time, Antony had just finished his second full season with Dutch giants Ajax, winning his second Eredivisie title at the age of 22. Later that summer, after United had appointed Ajax boss Erik ten Hag as their new manager, they paid a staggering £86 million for Antony in what proved to be a costly mistake. The Brazilian endured 2.5 frustrating years at Old Trafford before joining Spanish side Real Betis on loan until the end of this season in January. But it all could have been very different for Antony had Liverpool followed through on their interest. During an interview with Arab news outlet Cura, the 25-year-old revealed, "I was very close to signing for Liverpool, but you never know what would have happened. In the end, I went to Manchester and had great moments there, and that was a good choice as well." Antony is a great admirer of the man he almost replaced, too, saying, "Salah is an amazing player and has been doing great things for a long time. He is a very great player. I don't know if he is the best in the world currently, but he is definitely among the best and is a strong contender for the Ballon d'Or." The £86 million winger has started well in Seville, managing 3 goals and 2 assists in his first 6 games. This week, Antony saw his red card against Getafe overturned, meaning that he can look to continue his good form when Betis host Real Madrid on Saturday. "I am very happy here, but I do not know what will happen in the future," he continued. "I always say that I enjoy every day, with the club, the city, everything, and I give my best for the team. It is still too early to talk about my future." Antony also said, "I think that to regain my confidence, the most important thing was to reconnect with myself. I found that here, and that's why I'm very happy and more confident every day." Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man Utd transfer news. Our second news is Ruben Amorim hits back at Roy Keane after savage Bruno Fernandes attack. Roy Keane tore into Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes with a furious rant, and Red Devils boss Ruben Amorim has since come out in defense of the midfielder. Ruben Amorim hit back at Roy Keane over his savage attack on Bruno Fernandes and said his opinion matters more than that of the ex-Manchester United skipper. Keane laid into current United captain Fernandes and his teammates, branding them imposters and bluffers for their part in the team's worst season of the modern era. Amorim leapt to the defense of Fernandes in the wake of Keane's brutal attack, insisting the 30-year-old playmaker, United's top scorer this season with 10 goals, leads by example. Asked about Keane's attack on Fernandes, Amorim said, "I heard about that, I have a different opinion. Bruno is really important for us in the club, especially for me. He's playing well in a difficult context and he always wants the responsibility. I know as a captain he does things sometimes with his arms, criticizing his teammates, but most of all it's a bit of frustration. He wants to win and sometimes it's difficult to deal with that frustration. Roy Keane has big standards from his time. But I think my opinion is more important than Roy Keane's because I am the coach." Keane launched into his tirade in a fiery exchange with former Arsenal striker Ian Wright, on the Stick to Football podcast, with the 53-year-old former midfielder giving Fernandes and his United teammates both barrels. "I see fans at matches and they're singing for Bruno," said Keane. "I see these boys and I think you're imposters. Talent is not enough. Bruno's a talented player, but it's not enough. When Wright disagreed with him about Fernandes, Keane said, "I've had enough of that rubbish. You watch United every week, we focus more on United. Sit and watch a game with him, Fernandes. People pretend to be closing people down." Wright defended Fernandes, arguing he has led by example and claiming that, without his talent and input, United would be fighting a relegation battle. That drew a fierce response from Keane, who said, "Who were you in the dressing room with? Tony Adams. You say, Tony Adams was this, Tony Adams was that, because he was a fighter. You've got young players who have to look at somebody and go, I like what he does. They all can't put the ball in the top of the net from 25 yards, I get that, but you want someone who's going, lads, are you with me? Are you with me?" Despite that, Wright continued to stick up for Fernandes and said, "Maybe he's not that kind of captain, but if Bruno's not there, United are in the relegation battle." Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man Utd transfer news. Our third news is Gary Neville launches into angriest Man United rant yet as ****** festive management blasted former Manchester United defender Gary Neville has called out the Glazer family for damaging the club's financial health in the wake of Ineos' latest cost-cutting measures. Gary Neville has launched a scathing attack on the Glazers, claiming their festive management has led to Manchester United's current financial woes. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are now in control of sporting operations at Old Trafford after the British billionaire bought a stake in his boyhood club, but the Glazer family are still in power at United. Ratcliffe has been heavily criticised for some of his cost-cutting measures since buying into the club, including the decision to make 250 staff redundant in the summer. A further 200 redundancies were announced this week as United unveiled plans to return the club to profitability. The measures were discussed on the latest episode of the Stick to Football podcast, where Neville again made it clear that it is the Glazers who have driven United into the ground financially. He explained, "About 3 years ago, I said that United needed to bring money in. It was a car crash waiting to happen. The club's finances are shot, absolutely shot to pieces. The debt, the recruitment's been reckless, the increase in staff from 600 up to 1,200, which is just unbelievable, the lack of Champions League football, which is £30, 40, 50 million a year, it's an absolute mess. The club has run out of cash. What you now see are desperate decisions. Some of them I think are needed, some are bad. You don't remove food off people at Old Trafford, you don't take £40,000 off the ex-players. And to be fair, the sacking of Dan Ashworth was a mess, because that's someone you've chased for 8 months and you get rid of after 3 months, that's a shocker and that's £4 million. But this is a culmination of absolute of management from the Glazers. To the point whereby £1 billion has been paid off in interest, the club has dipped off in terms of performance, cash flow, profit, it's lost £300 million in 3 years. Man United used to be the most profitable football club. In 2018 they had £350 million in the bank. From that point on now, I think, Ratcliffe's, Ineos put in £300 million and there's not much of that left. Neville's words come off the back of Manchester United's latest financial results, which revealed that the club has £731 million worth of debt on their books, the majority of which is related to the Glazers' leveraged buyout of the club back in 2005. Despite numerous fan protests, Avram Glazer made it clear that the family would not be selling up earlier this month when he was questioned by a reporter in the United States. Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man Utd transfer news. Our last news is Ruben Amorim reveals Alejandro Garnacho gesture after Man United sub-reaction. Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim has played down any rift with Alejandro Garnacho following his response to being subbed in midweek during the win over Ipswich. Alejandro Garnacho has promised to buy dinner for his Manchester United teammates as a way of apologising for sulking following his substitution. Against Ipswich. Garnacho was sacrificed by United boss Ruben Amorim in Wednesday's 3-2 win at Old Trafford, following Patrick Dorgu's sending off just before half-time. After the game, Amorim said he would speak to Garnacho about his actions, but revealed the 20-year-old Argentina international came to see him the following day to explain himself. "He came to me," said Amorim. "It was funny because, the next day he came to my office and I did some investigations. He went to the dressing room, changed his clothes because he was wet, and he watched the rest of the game, but not on the bench. At the end of the game he was there and then he went home. So it's not an issue. But, at a big club like Manchester United, everything is important and perception is important. So he's going to pay for a dinner for all of the team and that's it. He's a young kid who will learn. The important thing is that, the next morning, he was speaking with me. Joshua Zirkzee did the same thing and the context was different. The players have to understand that the perception here was really important. I think he understands now. The players now, they read everything, all the small things. I know the players quite well, I understand they are frustrated. He was subbed, he was playing well. But I'm just trying to help them to become better players." Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man Utd transfer news.